I didn't think the story was that interesting.
I'm gay. You what?
And it was a beautiful thing because it really became a symbol of pride, of family.
Lena Waithe, what's your drink?
I got some strawberry peach kombucha.
Nice. I went with pomegranate.
Nice.
Cheers to that.
Mm-hmm.
You're a writer, you're a producer, you're a showrunner, you're an actor. You were the first Black woman to win for an Emmy for comedy writing.
The things that make us different, those are our superpowers. Every day when you walk out the door, put on your imaginary cape and go out there and conquer the world, because the world would not be as beautiful as it is if we weren't in it.
How did you go from watching TV to all that?
I think it was a long journey for sure, but it really started with a passion for television and storytelling and movies. I know a lot of kids might be super into movies and TV shows because that's very entertaining and a lot of kids enjoy that. But I think for me, I knew that it was different. It was a little bit more trying to understand how stories were told, characters, things like that. And so that's when I realized, this might be a little different than just enjoying watching TV.
Did you feel like you had a knack for it right away? Like, was your first screenwriting adventure wonderful?
Your early things aren't going to be that great. And that's really what I try to tell some of my mentees that I work with. I think they want their first time at bat to be epic. And I'm just like, no, you gotta strike out before you hit the home run. Or if you don't strike out a bunch of times, you'll never know how good a home run feels. So I think that's why it's important to get up there and just keep practicing. But I absolutely can relate to that.
So in your 20s, you moved to LA, right? And you have kind of a series, it seems like, of different low-level jobs. You're assisting people. Ava DuVernay, probably the most famous person that you work as an assistant to.
Yeah.
Were you literally like running coffee errands and all the cliches?
For sure, yeah. And I think that's also a part of the journey, I feel. I'm also really grateful for that part of the journey. And also in terms of people I'm mentoring now, I encourage it, for them to be office PAs, assistants, interns, runners, whatever it may be, because it's not just being hazed or paying your dues, even though that's a part of it, but also it's a part of you being in the environment where the pressure isn't on, and you don't have to be the person to pitch that day or fix the show or put a fire out, but you get to be a witness, you get to be a fly on the wall.
You end up getting this role on Master of None.
I'm gay. You what? I'm gay.
For people who don't know or haven't seen it, the Thanksgiving episode is basically your character coming out and the journey that your character as a gay woman of color has taken. It seems, from the outside, it seems like you draw on your life a lot.
I didn't have any plans on telling that story per se. I didn't think the story was that interesting. But in conversation with Aziz and Alan and some other writers on the show, and as Alan and just asked casually, he's like, well, how did you come out? And I started telling the story, and they just were like, we've never seen this before on television, which are the things that you're saying. It just turned into this thing that we couldn't, we no longer had control over. And it was a beautiful thing because it really became a symbol of pride, of family, and about, what it means to be a Black person or a person of color who has to come out to your family. And it's just affected a lot of people. So we're really proud of that episode for sure.
The Emmy kind of opens doors, right? I mean, it's unfortunate, but I assume people return your calls now.
These awards do shift things, and it helps other people to be aware of things that they might not have been aware of. So when you leave Black and brown and queer and people who have the trans experience out of these award ceremonies, it makes it difficult for people like myself to be in positions of power to really change the way Hollywood looks. And
I know you've been having conversations about this, how Black and brown directors and writers are building things and creating right now. You just did this Adobe interview series called Create Change.
Black people, like, we're always creating and the world is always burning. That's my thing too. I think the revolution hasn't stopped.
How do you feel about the moment we're in right now?
It's a really great time to be a Black person who's creating things, because I think the industry is aware that our voices are the most important and they shouldn't be filtered and they shouldn't be made to be palpable for, broader audiences. But I also know that there's obviously a lot more work to be done. But I think what's good is that a lot of us are talking to each other and we're strategizing and we're figuring out ways to ensure that this moment doesn't just come and go and we don't see any real change. But change comes slow and it takes time, and there's huge infrastructures that need to be broken down and rebuilt. And so all that kind of stuff takes time.
Can we do rapid fire real quick?
Sure.
Lightning round, okay? Weirdest thing about you?
Weirdest thing. That's the weird. I don't know what is deemed weird anymore.
Yeah.
Like, everything about me is weird.
Most challenging part of Hollywood?
The misconceptions about it. I think people think that Hollywood is, a place where all your dreams come true and everything is good and everything's great. And I think people don't realize that Hollywood is really a town made up of people that are misfits and have traumas and are trying to, find peace through their work. And so therefore that creates for a very complicated and tricky industry.
In a word, what's next for you?
Everything.
Lena Waithe, it's been so fun to talk to you.
Good talking to you.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, guys. Wait.